Hello again, it is good to have you join us on a fresh episode of ONIF TV Highlights, where we get to bring you the headlines and stories trending on major media platforms all across the world every week. My name is Damilola Raphael. I mean, so many stories all across the world. ABC, that media house that was being raided by security personnel. Also the issue with necessary evil, if you know, you know. AIT-NBC saga, Muhammad Bande, UNGA president, Nigeria not the carry last. There is also the story of Trump's forgetfulness. Trump's forgetfulness, let's look at it at like his wife, okay? So many people saying different things about her, but the babe proved herself to be smart. She's proven to be smart. She reminded her husband that they actually gave the gift to the queen. When the gift asked him, do you remember this? And he felt, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I do. And the wife said, come on, we gave queen, mama queen, we gave her the gift. Yes, she reminded him rather of the gift. Yes, then there is the matter with Abacha loot. I mean, they're not saying Nigeria should come and sit down and come and be discussing how they were looking at how they will now do the money. Do which money? Last we discovered that this money came from Nigeria. Hey Joe, please, I can't. Oh my god, I just can't. Yes, then there is the matter between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Some people are now saying it's a good thing to lose. What you don't understand is it's not just getting money, it's about value and also being of relevance. So I mean, the headlines holding the major dailies and of course media houses across the world are just limitless. So we are just going to be starting like this. You know, I told us last week that it is good to be good. I loaned out my glasses so I can use it to see ahead into the next 4 years. And my baby girl, Riri, I mean, she made it into becoming the richest female musical artist. What are we not saying? And she told me to just, go down with this. I tried bringing Bam Bam to do me a tattoo, but you see, the aircraft he wanted to come on with was grounded, some weather issues. But we'll look into having my header style tattoo someday soon. Let's start with this one coming from the National Assembly. Outgoing Senate President Bukola Saraki has reflected on his 4-year tenure as the head of the nation's legislature and urged his colleagues to be wary of the transient nature of power. He also reviewed the relationship between the executive and the legislature as well as his travails and concluded oh my god, that conclusion. He concluded that he had no regrets in an apparent response to criticisms of the National Assembly by the executive, particularly President Muhammadu Buhari. He also took exceptions to the allegations that he and the outgoing Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, were not patriotic in the handling of affairs of the National Assembly in the last 4 years. He maintained that the frictions between the executive and the legislature would not end with the 8th National Assembly for as long as the former, that's the executive now, held the belief that it could always interfere with the affairs of the parliament, especially on the issue of budget. Yeah, Baba no regrets. He has no regret. I just like that part. He's like Ecclesiastes. Oh, he now looked and looked. The guy has seen life. It's not easy. All right, moving on. The senator representing by Yelsa East, Ben Bruce, says some of his colleagues at the upper legislative chamber do not read. Speaking at the valedictory session of the 8th Senate, Marlborough said it is important for his colleagues to read and understand events around the world. I think they should hook up to ONIF TV. What do you think? He said their duty as lawmakers is to make laws for the future and not the past. And he urged the executive to allow his colleagues elect their leaders. Baba said they should read. Please, but he said they don't read. I need to understand this. Those guys, we see them, they will go and sit down with newspaper, and you're saying they don't read. But if you want to be updated on what is happening around the world, please, if you love your leaders, tell them to queue on this, you understand? They should come and join those who know what's up. And of course, join us on ONIF TV. We would be very, very happy to help you with. We are audiobook or video book. Oh my goodness. Now the power tussle for the president of the 9th Senate is getting tougher A senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, says his quest to head the Senate still stands. Despite the fact that Senate leader Ahmed Lawan is the choice of President Muhammadu Buhari and the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, Ndume has refused to withdraw from the race. He dismissed the reports that he was invited to the presidential villa in Abuja by Buhari, saying he had no reason whatsoever to visit the president to be persuaded to step down for Lawan. A senator representing Gombe Central, Danjuma Goje, who indicated interest in the top position, withdrew from the race after a meeting with Buhari yesterday. And yes, there have been talks, even among the APC, thanking him. El Rufai coming out to say, thank you, the Baba that was against God for that reason. He's thanking Ndume, I beg your pardon, Danjuma Goje, for stepping down, and also for saying this is who he wants at that echelon of leadership in the National Assembly. But seriously, you're only one call away. When they were going to congratulate Baba, it was a call away. Baba will tell you to step down. It does not need you to come to Abuja. There is too much crowds in Abuja. We are trying to reduce traffic. In other news, there is outrage in the country after the National Broadcasting Commission announced the suspension In other news, there is outrage in the country after the National Broadcasting Commission announced the suspension of the licenses of African Independent Television and RAYPOWER FM belonging to Dark Communications Limited. NBC Director General Modibo Akawu stated at a press briefing in Abuja that the shutdown of the media houses was until further notice. The DG said the infractions committed by the media houses included their inability to pay their license renewal fees and the airing of a presidential election documentary while the matter was still before a tribunal, among others. In a reaction, the Nigeria Guild of Editors describes the closure as shocking and unbelievable, while the Ohaneze Ndigbo says the action portended danger for the survival of democracy in the country. Also, the People's Democratic Party said the action was an indication that dictatorship had returned to the country. It said President Muhammadu Buhari was behaving like a king, adding that he had forgotten that he was no longer a military ruler. How many of you have seen Game of Thrones? Oh my God, I didn't just mention it. When King Joffrey passed on and his younger brother was asked what kind of king was good enough to be king, it was like I've seen the script before. I just said, a wise king. So, well, I only talked about Game of Thrones. I didn't talk about anybody. And NUJ as well. Yeah, the Nigerian Union of Journalists have said they're giving them 24 hours. We see how the 24 hours we go, because that is how the green chambers in the before assembly that is passing away, or I've already passed out, I've left. Like that's how they call for President Muhammadu Buhari to come and and it was like an ultimatum. Well, we never got any responses. Let's see, 24 hours has to be a sinker. All right, family members of a 22-year-old lady, Oluwakemi Shoyebo, are in distress following her sudden disappearance while returning from work. Oluwakemi was said to have gone to her place of work in the Agbara area of Ogun State on June 3rd, 2019, but has not returned home since. Her colleagues reportedly said Oluwakemi left the office for home at the close of work that day. Mother of the victim, Bukola Saraki, said she thought that her daughter was with her friend, but all her telephone lines had been switched off and efforts to get across to her had proved abortive. Bukola, who noticed that the family members were becoming apprehensive, urged anyone with useful information on Oluwakemi's whereabouts to contact the police. And, when I saw the story in particular, I remembered Wura, and Again, I'm offering up prayers that Kemi will be found, and not just found, but found alive and well, and that we're protected on all sides. Chief Commander released the song, we pray we are protected, because you just never know. Truth be told, let's move over to the north now. In Kano State, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has issued a query to Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, over alleged financial misappropriation. The development comes less than 2 days after Sanusi and Ganduje shook hands and prayed together during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations. The Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission had recommended the suspension of the Emir, saying during its investigation it uncovered that 3.4 billion naira was misspent by the emirate under Sanusi. So now it is Sanusi that will be suspended. People are spending money under some people. It is those people that are even still being given bail, like the one that said Ejotobe 36 million. Okay. But now, Emma Sanusi, many are the afflictions of the righteous, so Jare. Am I now saying, I'm just saying, in case you are going through persecution, don't worry. In the meantime, Governor of Zamfara State, Bello Mutawale, has approved the suspension of Emir of Maru Abubakar Ibrahim and District Head of Kanoma Ahmed Lawal. The governor's decision was made in a statement signed by the Director General of Government House Press Affairs, Yusuf Idris. Yusuf said the duo was suspended after a series of complaints on their alleged involvement in banditry and other criminal acts. This one is not money. This one is by fire by force. And well, looking at by fire by force, let's move over to Ondo State. The Ondo State Police Command said it has commenced investigation into the alleged assault on worshippers and the pastors of the RCCG by a judge of the Court of Appeal, Justice for Layemi Omoleye. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Femi Joseph, who confirms the incident, said the command had also interrogated the judge over the incident. Justice Omoyele was alleged to have gone to the branch of the RCCG on the Ijapo Estate, Akure, on Wednesday and disrupted the service by recording the church's ongoing service with her mobile phone. Her action was said to have alarmed the church members who challenged her for recording them, but the judge was alleged to have assaulted her challengers, including the pastors of the church. Touch not man noted. Well, before the incident, it was gathered that the judge had complained of disturbance caused by the noise coming from the church, as her house is said to be beside the church. You know, they used to say, I don't know, I just heard that part too. But this matter is a conk one. It needs to be diluted. Science students, can I see your hand up in the air? Please, let us see how we can dilute this particular matter. Because talking about touch not my anointed, the judge is anointed. Yes, appointments, anointments. And of course, the pastors are anointed. And then, of course, church members, why will you be agitating? Last you poor drag yourselves to court if she now wants to tender evidence or something. Then there was actually an enactment in Lagos State. I don't know how relevant that is in other parts of the country, where noise pollution and all of that, we don't know if that is actually in effect in Ondo State. Let's move outside of Nigeria. At this time, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed arrived in the Sudanese capital today. Has arrived in the Sudanese capital to broker talks between the ruling generals and protest leaders after a deadly crackdown by security forces this week. And now this comes after the African Union suspended Sudan's membership with immediate effect amidst an upsurge of violence in the capital that has seen dozens killed. The Pan-African body warned of further action if power is not transferred to a civilian authority, a key demand of pro-democracy protesters. Oppositional activists say a paramilitary group has killed 108 people this week, but officials put the figure at 46. I don't know. This one I've been feeling like cracking proverb since now. I thought 46, 108. All joined. Somebody still died, and I think the AU was really proactive in this particular matter. It's time for us to turn the tides. I mean, Africa should stop being the zonal headquarters or whatever provincial headquarters, you know, for all manner of vices and negativities in the world. There is so much. Let me say this. Now, wherever it is that you see vultures gather, it's because there's carcass. Wherever you see evil seeming to prevail, it's because there's a whole lot of good right there. Okay, let's move on to sport. At this time, the president of Confederation of African Football, CAF, Ahmed, has been arrested in Paris, capital of France. Ahmed was picked up at the Berry Hotel in Paris, where he was staying ahead of the FIFA Congress. It was gathered that the arrest may be related to the alleged misappropriation and corruption involving French company Tactical Steel. Cross-border, cross-country arrest, cross-continent arrest. And talking about football, the FIFA Women World Cup begins on the 7th, which is today. And France, of course, is a host country. And they are going to be starting the games. Nigeria is going to be coming up on the 8th. We look forward to their games. This one that I'm going to win. At least let's carry something to the house. Let's carry the gold. I think we should be specific. Seriously, I'm moving on to boxing at this time. New heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. is demanding £40 million to agree to a rematch with Anthony Joshua in the UK. Ruiz pulled off one of the greatest shocks in boxing history at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night, finishing favorite Joshua in the 7th round to capture the IBF, WBA and WBO titles. There was a rematch clause written into the contract, and promoter Eddie Hearn exercised this on Tuesday, announcing the two fighters will meet again at the end of the year and that he hopes it will take place in the UK. However, Ruiz wants the second bout to be in Mexico or the US and has warned Hearn it will take a huge sum to get him over to Britain. The guy had to up his game, like I'm win, and then Anthony Joshua will now like win more money more than me. When you have win, how many things do you want to win? You want to win title, you want to win money. You have to choose one. Either you are winning title or you're winning money. And I think that was quite proactive as well of Anthony Joshua and his team. How that they said there was a rematch clause. Was the guy suspicious that he was going to lose or something? But he has a quote. He said that, don't let success get in your head, and don't let failure, get to your heart. And he said he's taking responsibility and he's willing to arise to the call for him to get back on his feet, so that he doesn't become a once upon a time kind of person. And well, wish him all the best, because Nigerians will bad. They have entered social media. Hey, what happened? The guy was tired. We saw he was weak. If he won, people will not say he has. Sheung, go and win. We are supporting you. We got your back. Alright, let's talk entertainment at this time. There was relief in Nollywood this week as popular comedian Babatunde Omidina, known as Babasuwe, returned to Nigeria from the United States, where he spent the past 1 month in a hospital receiving treatment for complications arising from diabetes and other ailments. The comedian arrived in Nigeria and at once visited the Sheraton Hotel in Ikeja, Lagos, to see his benefactor, Reverend Esther Ajayi, also known as Iya Adura. During the visit, Babasuwe expressed his gratitude to Ajayi for coming to his aid in his time of need. The cleric donated the sum of 10 million naira to Babasuwe when he was in dire need of funds to pay for the treatment of his ailment abroad. Other Nigerians, including members of the Theatre Arts and Motion Pictures Producers Association of Nigeria worldwide, also made valuable efforts and contributions to ensure that he recovered, from the ailment. We are happy for him. He's back on his feet, and we hope that he maintains a healthy lifestyle. And this is also to you and to all of us, really, to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Go for checkups. Have, a family physician. Very important, so they have a history, not just that you are friends with a gynecologist or your sister is having a specialty, maybe ophthalmology, and then you say, okay, so that's my doctor. No, that person is a specialist. There are people rather who specialize in family medicine, family health. So you could you should now, not could, you should have this. They would send you to specialists, and then the specialist will refer you back to your medical doctor, so they have a history, your medical history, you understand, over time, and we'll be able to pray for solution in case anything happens. And of course, we are praying, yes, but then remember that faith without works is dead. Music star, makeup entrepreneur, and lingerie designer Rihanna. Oh my goodness, has gathered a $600 million fortune to become the world's richest female musician. Can I hear you say, According to Forbes, the 31-year-old born Robin Rihanna Fenty in Barbados has amassed wealth exceeding that of Madonna, Celine Dion, and Beyonce, whose husband Jay-Z was just named the world's first billionaire rap star. Oh my God. I saw one put her song on repeat this week. I'm not kidding. And now, she makes the majority of her money from touring and musical releases, but also co-owns her Savage and Fancy lingerie line. This comes as musical mogul Jay-Z is now the first official hip-hop artist to amass a fortune that conservatively totals $1 billion. Forbes breakdown indicated that the rapper's chief source of wealth is his $300 a bottle Armand the Brignac champagne brand, but also boasts investments including a large stake in Uber. You see, they are making money. They are not just singing and be waiting for Yahoozing. No. They are making money, they are working hard and having investments. This is some of the things we should open our eyes to. Invest in local businesses, invest in other people's dreams, and see how it will bring yields back to you instead of waiting for some illegal money coming from somewhere. But seriously, I'm super proud of those people. I was working so hard. And I mean, talk about Rihanna. You know, why would she be able to afford £20,000 for rent per day? Rihanna, from today, I'm officially your best friend. Oh my God. Only my own tattoo. Bam Bam will need to come to Nigeria to do it. It's been awesome. This is where we get to call it a wraps on this week's edition of ONIF TV Highlights. Kindly do drop your comments and tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about ONIF TV Highlights, so that instead of reading, you have a video book that will give you all of the information you require to move you to the next level. And when you begin to win awards from the information we have given you right here, please DM us. We need to stock. We can also have an investment. That investment is very important. My name is Bukola Saraki. I'll see you some other time on the umbrella. Ella, A.